Have you ever wanted to invest in real estate, but you don't know where to start? You don't know how to find a house. You don't know how to find the money. You don't know how to fix up the house. You're at step zero. You don't know what to do. Well, hey, here's the video for you. Well, I'm going to be breaking down step by step on how you can invest in your first real estate investment property. So I don't know if you ever heard the story of Sam and Sarah. Sam and Sarah were a married couple. Sarah absolutely loves cooking on Sundays. That was her joy. So on Saturdays, she would go to the grocery store to get everything she needed for the next day. So, she doing her thing in the grocery store. She's shopping, put things in her cart, and just having a great time. Because again, this is her joy. She loves to cook on Sundays. So she gets to the register and it's time to pay. She looks for the things in for her wallet and she cannot find it. She's like, "Where's my wallet?" So she calls Sam, hysterically crying like, "Oh my God, Sam, I got to the grocery store. I'm ready to cook tomorrow. I got everything I need, but I left my wallet at home." And Sam says, "You could just use Apple Pay, right?" And she's like, "Apple Pay, what is that?" So Sam starts walking her through the process to get approved for Apple Pay. And she pays for it with Apple Pay. And then, she was able to cook the next day. Why am I telling you that story? Because we don't have a resource problem. We have a recognition problem. Sarah wasn't blocked off of the banking system. She had the resources in her account. She just needs to learn how to get access to the resources she already had in the account, right? A lot of us are like Sarah. We're crying when we feel like we don't have our wallet, when we can just use Apple Pay. So again, we just have to change our recognition, understand we don't have a resource problem, we have a recognition problem. So I'm not teaching you theory, by the way. I'm 23 years old. I've bought over 100 houses. So I absolutely know what I'm doing. I have 7 fix and flip properties right now. So everything I'm teaching you is not theory. It's stuff I actually do on a day-to-day basis, right? So the first thing you need when you're going to buy a house or you're going to do an investment property is you need debts, right? So I'm going to draw an illustration on the board. What we're going to do, we're going to illustrate a house, right? We looking to buy houses, we go illustrate a house. So debt is like the foundation of the house. Let me do this, right? Debt is the foundation, right? We absolutely need debt. What does that mean? I know a lot of people say, stay out of debt, don't get debt. Well, I'm an advocate of get debt, but don't get bad debt. Get good debt that's actually working for you. In this case, this is good debt that's working for us because we're going to make a profit on this debt. So how do you find the money? Debt is also money, right? How do you find the money to go ahead and do your first fix and flip? So there's something called a hard money lender. A hard money lender is somebody who lends on assets and they lend on assets. They don't need no credit report. So you can have bad credit. You don't necessarily need cash. They don't look at your financials. All you need is a good deal, right? And again, it's called hard money lenders. I find a lot of my hard money lenders from realestatewealthnetwork.com. Realestatewealthnetwork.com is one. You can also look up hard money lenders in your city. So I'm in Dallas. So you can look up hard money lenders in Dallas, Texas, right? So that's how you can find somebody who will give you the money. Again, you don't need good credit. You don't need $100,000 in your bank account. All you need is a good deal. But what we have to realize when we get into these loans, we have to understand terms. One term we have to understand is LTV. LTV is loan to value. So let's say the house is worth $100,000. A good lender will give you 75% of what the home is worth, right? So that means they're going to give you $75,000 to complete the project, right? Another thing, LTC, loan to cost. How much of the loan to value will they give you to complete the project? So you're looking for loan to value to be 75%, and you're looking for loan to cost to be 100%, right? So that means they'll give you 100% of that 75,000. Sometimes lenders will try to give you only 80% of that 75,000, which that's like 60,000, give or take. So do not do a project with a lender that's going to give you like 50% loan to value, or that's going to give you 70% loan to cost. This is what you need to be looking for, because Debt is the foundation. If the foundation is not solid, the whole house crumbles. So we have to have a good foundation. Also, points. They're going to charge you points. The industry standard is 1 to 2 points. Do not go over 1 to 2 points. If people are talking about 5 points, 6 points, run and run very, very fast. That's not what you want to pay. And that's not what you want to do. Another thing we have to watch out for, monthly interest, right? So with these loans, you're going to have to pay monthly interest. Some lenders out there, y'all, will give you interest on the back end, meaning you don't have to pay interest until the property is sold. So again, why debt is the foundation? Because let's say your monthly interest is $2,000 a month, but you cannot uphold that interest, then your whole foundation is going to crumble. Your whole house is going to crumble because you can't uphold the monthly interest. So before you go into a flip, know that 1 or 2 things. You need to be able to make sure you can cover this monthly interest, or find a lender that will not give you monthly interest payments. Do one of those 2 things and you'll be good. And that's pretty much what you need to understand with debt, with a hard money lender. But Jalen, I don't have 1 to 2 points to pay on a loan. If my loan is $200,000, I don't have $4,000 to pay to go ahead and buy the house. Well, you have to use leverage at that point. Do you know somebody who will give you the money? Right? At that point, you could do another thing, raise a second lien position against the house. Right? Going around asking people like, hey, if you give me $10,000, I'll give you $3,000 in 6 months. Would you do that deal? Well, how you gonna give me my $3,000? Well, hey, I'm buying this house and I'm gonna make $40,000 on the back end. So I know I can pay you $2,000 to $3,000 all day. Here's the numbers. Does everything look good? Yeah. Okay, that's how you raise it. So again, don't limit yourself. Don't be like Sarah at the grocery store without her wallet. Understand that you have leverage, you have connections. It may be your grandparents that'll give you some money. It may be your parents. It may be a friend. It may be a colleague at work. Again, you have the resources. Just understand you need to have the recognition. So after we have the debt, now the next step of this is supposed to be a brick, y'all. And I got about 5 of these. Deal. So the next thing we have to find is the deal. The debt is the foundation, but the deal is very, 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 very important. Like without the deal, like it's not gonna work. With a bad deal, if you buy a bad deal in real estate, what I like to say is buying a bad deal is worse than buying a good deal. Like what am I trying to say? So if you buy a good deal that you can make $100,000 on, versus if you buy a bad deal and you lose 20, like you losing 20K is worse than you making 100K. Well, obviously, but what I'm trying to say is you do not want to lose on any flip. Like if you have the opportunity, like if I'm looking at a deal and I can make 100K, but I could lose 20, I'm probably not going to do the deal is what I'm trying to say. Because my downside, I have to protect my downside. As an investor, the game is do not lose at all. As an investor, that's the game. Do not lose money. So again, if you're in a situation where you can buy a deal, but you could lose, just walk away. It's no reason to do it. We don't force deals. But Jalen, how do I know if I got a good deal? Pretty much. How do I know if I got a good deal? It's a simple formula that I'm gonna teach you. In my mentorship, I go way deeper than this. But the simple formula I'm gonna teach you is, let me see here. Is a 0.7 formula, the 70% rule. Meaning that deal has to follow this formula. I'm gonna break it down to you. So let's say the home is worth 400,000. That's after repair value. That means what is the home worth after it's all fixed up, when it's renovated, when you put it on the market and the realtor shows it? What price is he asking for the home? Let's say that's 400,000, right? So you have to do 400,000 and times that by 70%. You got $280,000, right? But that's not over. Let's say the house needs $60,000 in work. Let's say it needs 60. So let me take this repairs out and put 60K. Now you have to be at $220,000, and that'll be a good deal for you as your first flip. Just with me not knowing the numbers, me not knowing the year built. Again, I go way deeper in my mentorship, but that will be a good deal for you. 220,000. So that's how you do the formula for a good deal is ARV times 0.7 minus repairs. The reason why that formula works is because it gives you 30% worth of equity for things to go wrong. And that 30% is your profit. That 30% are realtor fees. That 30% is these points, the monthly interest, everything you need, utilities, contractors, everything you need, that 30%, you can still walk away and profit what you need to profit. So another thing I'll give you for deals, I'm in Dallas, Texas. Again, every market is different. I'm gonna give y'all a little bit of gems. You want to buy 1970 build or newer. 1970 build or newer, preferably brick. You want to make sure that property has a lot of comparables, right? How do you find an ARV? You run comps on the house. Don't buy a house based off of one comparable. It needs to be 2, 3, 4, 5 comparables for me to feel comfortable raising debt on a deal. And have that 30% equity. So again, 1970 build, preferably brick. I'm looking for multiple comps. So that's how you make sure your deal is good. The next thing, when we're talking about, investing in our first house. Okay, we got the debt, we got the deal. Now we need the execution. Execution. What does that mean? Right? You can lose money executing the deal wrong. So everything matters when you build a house, right? The framing matters. The door matters. The foundation matters. The roof matters, right? So execution is as important as deal and debt, right? You execute a property correctly by your contractors. You want to pre-qualify your contractors before you put them on a job. How many years have you been in business? Are you licensed and insured? Right? Those are questions I'm asking. Do you have pictures of your last property that you did? When was your last property? So pre-qualify the heck out of your contractors because that can make or break your deal. Point blank period. So pre-qualify and pre-qualify hard. Another thing, we're executing the house, how you can mess up is paying your contractors wrong. How I pay my contractors every single Friday, right? Every Friday I'm paying them based off of the work they've done. So on Friday, I go walk the home. Okay, what was done this week? And I quality check the work. A lot of people don't quality check the work they're doing. So when a project is done, now they go on the market. Now it's a horrible product and it won't sell. So you want to make sure you're paying your contractors every Friday. Do not pay a deposit to contractors. Do not pay 50% up front. You're going to get scammed. Do not get scammed. Do not pay 50% up front. If the project is $60,000, why would I pay you $30,000 to get the project started? And I know a lot of contractors are going to give you pushback. Well, hey, I don't want to get scammed. I've got scammed in the past. Well, hey, if it's me or you, I ain't gonna be the one that got scammed. I'm just gonna keep it real with you. So do not pay 50% up front because contractors are literally running off with $30,000. For some people, that's life changing money, right? At one time. So don't give them the opportunity to scam you, especially if you don't know them. Okay, Jalen, that's cool, but I don't even know where to find contractors. Like, you telling me all of this. How can you find contractors? Go to Facebook and then go to Facebook groups and look up contractors in your city. If you're in Dallas, contractors in Dallas, Texas, contractors in Houston, contractors in New York, wherever you're at, you can find contractors like that. Make a post and say, hey, I'm looking for a general contractor to help me with a rehab. And you should get blown up. You're probably going to get 50, 60, 70, 80 comments. What you need to do is, once you get 60, 70, 80, pre-qualify and pre-qualify all of them because you want to get the best contractor. So again, Money, like I always say, money is made on the buy, money is made on the deal, but money is lost in execution. Money could be lost if you don't pre-qualify your contractors, if you find a wrong contractor. If, let's say, for example, again, this monthly interest that I was talking about earlier, let's say, for example, you're not able to pay that monthly interest and then you run out of money. So the flip stop, like, for example, back in 2022, I had the most flips I had at one time at 21 years old. I had about $2 million in hard money debt, right? So I was paying about $15,000 to $20,000 a month to satisfy my loan. So the situation I got in was I was paying $15,000 to $20,000 a month in monthly interest, and that took away from me actually investing in a deal to make it look better, to renovate the house. So what happened was, again, I was getting stretched by the monthly interest and was not able to execute the deal. So that taught me a couple things. That taught me have enough cash reserves to where if everything hits the fan, you're still able to execute. Don't take off too much as you can chew at one time. Understand where the market at. That leads me to my next point. Understanding where the market at, right? If it's your first deal, or if this your first time investing in real estate, don't go out there and try to buy 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 at one time. Just buy one at a time. Like, be be slow and steady with this. You don't have to be hasty. So even execution is saying no to other opportunities. Let's say you bought one, but you got another one that you can make, $50,000 on. Say no to it, because you don't want to get in a situation where, you like I was in 2022 and couldn't finish out all the projects because of that. And then the last thing is exit. So how do you exit the property, right? So once you're renovated, once you have the debt, once you have the deal, once you execute it effectively and efficiently, now it's time to exit for profit, right? So how do you do that? So you want to find a good realtor, right? Another thing, you only need to be paying 4% in total. Pay 2% buyer's agent commission and then 2% seller's agent commission. 6%, if you're paying 6%, that means you're saving an extra $8,000 if you can get this down to 4%. So if you can get that down $8,000, you completely won. Another thing you want to think about, a good realtor that'll show the house, that has buyers, that has clientele, that'll help you out a lot, because you really don't want a realtor on your first one that's just going to sit on their hands and not do anything, right? So you want a realtor that's going to actually put in a lot of legwork, right? So I know I said pretty much exit profits, right? You can exit for profit or you can exit for equity. Because this video is how to invest in real estate, not necessarily how to invest in fix and flips. So another thing you could do is turn this property into a rental property, right? So let's say, for example, you have this same deal, right? This same exact deal. It's a way you can exit for equity. So let's say you bought it for 220, you put 60 into it, so you're all in at $280,000. All in. It's worth ARV 400,000. It can rent out for, let's say I can rent out for, let's say 3,300. This is just some off the top of my head. It can rent out for 3,300. So what we need to do to exit for equity is we need to run the numbers on how much we'll have to pay the bank on a refinance to keep the house and exit this hard money loan and then go into a new loan for refinance. So let's do a quick math right here. Let's say, for example, let me pull up my mortgage calculator. Okay, let's say, for example, you're all in at 280. Interest rates right now, let's say 7%. That don't look too right. Let's say 7%. Okay, I guess that is right. So your payment to the bank to refinance will be 21.25. Okay, you got to pay the bank. We know we got to pay taxes and insurance. Let's say taxes are, let's just say 250 a month, right? Let's say insurance is about, let's say 150. So we're all in on that house to go ahead and keep the house for the long term. We're all in the house for $2,525. Okay, but it can rent out for 3,300. Note. So our note would be our, not our note, but our cash flow will be about $975. $975 we can cash flow on this house in this example. But that's not even the best part, right? That's not, and again, these are rough numbers. These are just numbers off the top of my head, right? The best part is the lender, the bank will give you 75% of the loan, right? So you're making 975 cash flow. The bank will give you $300,000, but you're all in for 280. So 280 all in. The bank is gonna give you 300. So guess what you do with that 20,000? That goes in your pocket. 300. Nope. So now you made $20,000 on a refinance. Let me tell you all the power of making $20,000 on a refinance. When you refinance a rental or investment property, that money is tax free. The government takes $0 of it. It's tax free income because you're taking out a loan that's not taxable. So you can make $20,000 tax free, plus you made $975 in cash flow, plus you got tax advantages for buying a house because you can cost segregate the home and force appreciation. And the best part is, this is the best part for real. I know I said there's a lot of best parts, but you got $100,000 in equity. So from buying one house, you got $100,000 to your net worth. You made $20,000 in your pocket. You're making $975 a month. Imagine if you can get 10 of those. Imagine if you can get 20 of those. Imagine if you can get 30 of those. That's how you build generational wealth. And that's how you invest in real estate. And this is how the rich get richer. And this is how the rich use inflation to their benefit. Buying assets, making money tax free, making cash on the assets, doing this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times, 10, 20, 30, 40 times, having 40 of these houses, they're paying no taxes, they're getting cash flow on it, and then they're letting compound interest work its magic. So again, that's how you invest in real estate. If you like the video, like, subscribe, and comment, and I'll see y'all on the flip side.